My
Wow.
gosh, good morning, Ling.
So funny.
Good morning.
Hi, Bookish. Good morning. Guilt, shame, and condemnation for the wrongs I have done. I am forgiven by believing in Jesus Christ, who
Look
died
at
for
me.
me and
Read
rose
it.
again. That's nice. All shall be forgiven, right? Good morning.
Redemption.
Right?
Me trying to read the chat. Look at that.
I know, right? Marcela and I were just talking about how it's like I'm always like, what does it say? And we're like trying to see the chat. I mean, can we make our font bigger on here?
Yeah.
Is
You
that a
can on your computer, yeah.
will it make this bigger too? Everything will be bigger? All right.
Everything will be bigger.
Oh.
Kind of like, ooh.
Mm.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Kimberly, I hope you're feeling better. Hey, Dave Wang. Look at you guys. I look cool today. I mean, amazing. My day is complete. Come on in. You guys, you want a quick little Punch Monkey update? Be Still My
Yay.
Heart. I posted it last night. Oh my god, I'm going to need you guys to help me through this. So, he's like at the age, I think, how old is he? Like 7 months old. So now he's supposed to be like fully like socializing with the troop and blah blah blah, being independent. So you know what they have to do? They have to take his stuffed animal away.
No.
They
What?
do. He's too dependent on it.
It's a stage,
Why?
Erica. Same thing happens with kids. You can't
Sad
keep
this is
your
why I
can't
don't
keep your stuffed animal forever.
It's like taking their binky away,
So they
right?
did? They took it away?
They're doing it, I get maybe today, maybe they're weak, but he's gonna feel abandoned again. So anyway,
Well,
I don't
Erika,
know.
I think it's
He's
a
too
part of the
young.
simulation. I think the simulation telling us something
Yeah.
about what we all need to do at this point, to like follow, our instincts inside of us
Yeah.
and
And
become
not
like,
feel abandoned?
Did you have a doll
yeah.
when you were little, Erica, that you carried around?
Owen, I still have it. It's in my attic.
Mm-hmm. But did you stop carrying it with you everywhere after a while?
Yes, Owen.
Mm-hmm.
My parents made me leave her at home eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
It's just
right.
a normal stage.
But I mean, how old is Punch? I mean, he's like not even a
7
He's
year
old
old.
enough. He's old enough. He's old
All
enough to
right.
Old
start
enough, is that
living.
right?
Well, this is just
That's
terrible.
that's and that's
He's
what
a
being a
private
father.
expert over there.
That's no. That's the difference between a father and a mother, right? The mother goes like, "Oh man, I just wish he could keep that stuffed monkey there forever." And a father has to be like, "Oh, it's gonna hurt a lot, but he needs to,
Who had Holly Hobby?
he needs to get punched, and that's awful, right?"
So
All right,
Auntie said
Sergio.
Owen was born wearing a jacket and tie.
No. I actually
Owen is
I
a
had a
good
stuffed as
dad.
it was a person, but it was a stuffed animal sort of thing. It's called Harry. And it was kind of an ironic name that he only had like a little tuft of hair, kind of like Bert a little bit, but
I'm
different
fine.
shape.
Oh, really?
And yeah, when I was little, that I had that.
Sorry, that
I
was
have
funny.
no direct memory of it, but I did have Harry much later than that, so I saw it. So I'm like, okay, that must have been true.
R.I.P. Harry.
Do you have a picture of it?
No, I
Do you have a
don't.
picture?
I'm
And
sure
I don't
it's-
have it anymore.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think it got
All right.
damaged eventually.
Put it
So
away, Owen. Put it away.
wrapping that up, you guys, pray for me because I have such abandonment issues. Like I really do. I had Patty. I had Holly Hobby's friend Heather. Heather was my girl. So just I feel so bad for little Punch Monkey because he's gonna be confused. He's gonna be fine and he's resilient, but I'm worried. All right. So Bree, I think it's time. Thanks.
It's the best part of the day. Best part every single time, except for the other parts that are pretty good too. So get in here, scramble to find your vessel to fill it with your favorite liquid. Because you know how this goes. If you're here for the simultaneous sip, all you need is a cup or a mug or a glass, a tankard, chalice or stein, a canteen, jug or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid, And join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better, the simultaneous sip. Go. Oh, yeah. Get that motor running. Vroom, vroom.
Vroom,
All right.
He turned the key. Old
vroom,
school.
vroom.
Love that, Scott.
He turned the key old school. Yeah,
So, oh my gosh. Good morning, everyone. We're back to reality. My name is Erica. Welcome to the Scott Adams School. And we're joined today with the news crew. I have, what is this? Is this my left to you guys? We have Sergio in the house.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Our Marcela looking stunning in blue.
Hi, everyone.
Love
Bring in
the
the color.
Love the flag. And Owen Gregorian, whose stuffed animal was a man named Harry. Welcome,
Mhm.
Owen.
Welcome. Good morning.
Not Harry Reid.
No,
Not Harry Reid.
definitely
Okay.
not.
we love that story. The first thing I want to do, you guys, oh man, I know this hits for all of us is I want to just recognize our heroes that have lost their lives. We have their names now, and I just want to take a second to honor them. We have Sergeant First Class Nicole Amore of Minnesota, Sergeant First Class Noah Tijens of Nebraska, Sergeant Declan J. Cody of Iowa, and Captain Cody A. Cork of Florida. And it's just sad and a shame. I know that there's I think two more people, we don't have their names yet, but I just wanted to put that out there because it's a serious time. It is a war, and these are people that had loved ones and people that they loved that are grieving today, and we send our condolences and our gratitude and our thanks and sorrow for these people. I just didn't want to go on without saying that.
And their parents and
Yeah, all
families,
their loved
yeah, of course, yeah.
I certainly
Yeah,
echo all that. Having been in the military but never being deployed somewhere, I certainly felt it when, I saw that my unit was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan multiple times. It's always a risk. It's always a danger, and it's certainly a heroic and very brave thing to serve. And what I took away from it more than anything else was just a sense of gratitude for all the men and women that serve, that protect us and keep us safe and do the fighting so that we don't have to.
Yeah. And that goes for anyone in that kind of position of danger, like policemen and firemen. And, it takes a special kind of person that like they know that what the ultimate sacrifice could be. And they're willing to sign up to do it anyway. And they deserve the utmost respect no matter what. I don't want to do that job. And I'm so grateful and thankful. And it's so sad. I really am so sad. When I saw their pictures last night and like you put like a face with the name and like what's happening, and you're just like, oh my God, it's like it's so real, it's just so real. So our condolences to all of their loved ones and their families. So before we get into the news, I just wanted to do a quick reframe today. This keeps coming up for me with like some people in my real life, I call it. So I'm just going to read it in the reframe book, you guys. If you have your book, I should have told you sooner, it's page 137. It's very short. And it's about toxic people. And real quick, okay? So
You have toxic people in your life, Erica?
No, I don't.
That's good.
Yeah, I learned how to get rid of them.
Okay.
Some of them have rejoined me because it worked out, but if you can't, you can't. Okay. Owen. Okay, so toxic people. So Scott writes, you might have someone in your life who has a so-called strong personality. That's one way to put it. But if you accept that frame, you're probably already a victim or will be soon. If someone with a strong personality does something messed up that affects you, you might be tempted to chalk it up to that strong personality. Don't do that. Strong personality is usually a nice way to say a person is toxic. And in my experience, toxic people can't change. They have a different reward system, which means they're acting rationally according to their priorities. For example, your reward system might involve feeling good because you helped someone. A toxic person would be rewarded by watching you fail, so they feel superior. The only known way to deal with toxic people is to remove them from your life and block them on all social media. Don't fall for the trap that if you fix their current problems, it will be smooth sailing. Toxic people never run out of current problems. So the usual frame is this person has a strong personality. I must become stronger to deal with it as an equal. The reframe is this person is toxic. I must escape now. The universe is very old. In all that time, no one has ever expelled a toxic person from their life and regretted it. You will not be the first. It's one of the few things in life that works every time. And I just wanted to drive that home. I was talking to a couple of friends in the last week that were having issues. And I don't know, maybe it's like that when you get older, you get wiser. And I mean, I'm not like, 99 years old, but you do just tend to understand that like sometimes people say if you don't like the players on your team, get new players. Like the same thing, if the people in your life are challenging you like that and you really can step back and be like, oh no, they're actually toxic, don't have them in your life. It's like just like having poison around you at all times. So
Erika,
yeah.
I love that reframe, and I want to add a little thing
Yeah.
to it because it's perfect. I want to add that it's like saying people is poison, right? Some people, right? And to get rid of them right away because it's poison, right? It's like alcohol is poison, even in moderation, right? So when it comes to the people like that, is not get away and physically, but also like mentally to get them out of them mentally, out of your head. And that includes any anger you have towards them is also poison too to
Mhm.
you, not to them. So I don't have a real clear reframe for that, but I just wanted to add that to get them out of your head completely.
Yeah. And
So
I
love it.
also
Yeah.
saw somebody said, what if the toxicity comes from your family? Honestly, it's the same thing. You don't have to let that into your life. Like if you have to see someone, like there's a family gathering or whatever. I remember Anthony Robbins talking about this one time, and he's like, make the visit as short as possible. So, like, if you have to see someone, like, okay, like there's a family thing, don't keep yourself like there. You have free will, or go in with an excuse right away, like, hey, I really wanted to see everyone. I have to be somewhere later. You don't owe anyone an explanation. So I just wanted to give everybody a kiss, and you move on and you go. Um, yeah. So like family, not, I mean, some of the most toxic people in your life might be your family. So I'm dating myself about Anthony Robbins. Well, I love Anthony Robbins. He's given lots of great advice for sure. So,
He's still
just,
around.
yeah, he's still around,
Tony.
but check yourselves, you guys. You don't have to keep those people in your life. Okay. So that's kind of the gist.
And I would just add, coincidentally, I did post a story about dealing with toxic people today.
Oh, let's do it.
Ooh.
It was in Psychology Today. Leanne Ten Brink was talking about this, and I suppose it adds something in the sense of what if you can't just cut someone out of your life. I do think that's probably the best solution in almost all cases, and I try to do that myself. I probably have more flexibility than some people, though, because like I work for this big consulting firm, and I've worked for big consulting firms most of my career, and that's where you kind of float around between teams. You don't have to stay with the same people all the time, so you can have different bosses and different coworkers every time and every project. And so I definitely have had a policy of if someone's toxic, I'm just not going to work with them again. And I'll make sure that that happens. And, but if you're the low person on the totem pole, you might not be able to do that. If you're in a different type of job where you have a toxic boss, you might just be stuck for a while, at least until you get another job. But what the three pieces of advice that this person offers is, number one, to set clear boundaries. That they mention people who are normal might not need clear boundaries because they kind of know not to violate your boundaries, but someone with these toxic traits might need more clear and explicit boundaries, and it's basically advising you to kind of train the person, like say, these are my boundaries, you can't do this, and then enforce it. And if you can set those boundaries and enforce them, you might have a little bit better time dealing with that person, as long as they explicitly know, this is a violation, and you call them out on it every time. I think that's probably consistent somewhat with what a lot of companies do with sort of sexual harassment and things like that, where if someone's telling an offensive joke or whatever it might be, if you just say that's inappropriate, that offended me, please stop doing that, then oftentimes that can make that person change, right? Where they might not think they did anything wrong, but if they know that they're offending you, and if they know that it's going to be called out every time, then they're much less likely to do it. The second thing is to try to empathize with them. And, he's referring to like dark personality traits, which might sound weird, but I think it's just trying to see things from their perspective. So like if you try to appeal someone on fairness or kindness or something that might work with most people, it might not work with a narcissist, for example. But if you can start a conversation, this is an example they give, with your egotistical uncle about talking about your shared alma mater, you might reduce the chances that he'll lash out at you later when you suggest that he's failing to fulfill his family duties or something. So if you can find something in common with the person, you might be able to sort of get on their good side. And again, I'm not saying this is perfect. It might not work with everybody, but at least it might work. And then the third thing is, it says to communicate carefully, and more specifically, they're saying you might want to just move all your communications to things like text or email, so that you actually have documented what you said and what was agreed to. Because if someone is this toxic person, one form of that might be that they lie, or they gaslight, or they say, no, I never said that, or I never did that. And if you keep things in text or email, then you have a record of it, and you can just put that right back in front of them and say, here it is, here's the record, and it's indisputable. So anyway, those are just some additional techniques. And I would certainly say, if you can cut the person out of your life, that's probably the best solution.
Like
but if you can't, then these are some things you might be able to try.
I think if you're at work and like you have that kind of a situation, like it might be kind of hard to finagle, but we'll move on from this topic. But I do like Scott's way of handling it too. Just get them out of your life, or as he might say, get away. Okay, so we'll move on from this, you guys. But thanks. I hope that helps anybody today that's got to deal with that. You're allowed to pick the people you want in your life.
Block them.
Go ahead, you guys.
So in the news today, I actually printed out the news. So
your paper tap.
Yeah. So here, for the Iran status, Owen has more news after I present mine. The Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, joined by Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Air Force General Dane Kane, delivered today's Pentagon briefing on Operation Epic Fury, announcing the U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran accelerating dramatically, with American and Israeli Air Force poised to secure complete, uncontested control of Iranian airspace between days. Hegseth emphasized Iran's military capabilities as evaporating by the hour, citing fresh arrivals of U.S. bombers and fighters that confirmed sinking of Iranian warship by the U.S. submarines and unrestricted deployment of precision-guided bombs up to 2,000 pounds to target missile sites, naval forces, and nuclear infrastructures. He indicated, and he was very proud of this. I don't know if you guys got to watch. It was today at 5 a.m. my time, 8 East Coast time. He said the Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. He's just, I just love how Secretary of War Pete Hicks said, maybe because he's had time in TV, as Fox News anchor or Fox News host, but he just does such good way of efficiently using his words. And he indicated America's winning without mercy. I know that there's a different perspective, a different POV, as you would say, regarding the war. There is part of the conservative side that doesn't believe what the government is saying to us, that believes that how would you say that Israel is driving this, that the four servicemen, that servicewomen and men that Erica mentioned today, didn't die for the United States, but they died for Israel. So there is that, so I'm just reporting what happened today. I'm not making a statement regarding how I feel. In regards to the New York Times reported, again, it's the New York Times, you guys. They reported that Iran made a secret offer to the U.S. to negotiate a deal to end the war. They reported this, I believe, last night. And since they reported this, the futures went up, I think, because they find this to be close in similar to Venezuela, where Venezuela lost Maduro. The next leadership started negotiating with Trump, and it's been stable ever since, stable, quote unquote. Basically, what the New York Times was saying is that this was Iranian intelligence directly went to the CIA officers to try to negotiate one day after the attack. However, this was one day after the attack. I believe those Iranian intelligence officers are probably dead by now. President Trump had a press conference yesterday with the Chancellor of Germany, and while he had the press conference, hi Stella, while he had the press conference with Chancellor, I forget his name. Well, the one that sits cross-legged. He told the press, and this is Trump, President Trump told the press that he knew the leadership had been killed. Then the next leaders had been killed as well. That the next leaders, they might not even know who they are. In time, they will know, but because they're killing everybody, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Owen, I believe that the second eldest son of Khamenei became the supreme leader, or has been appointed supreme leader since yesterday.
Yes, I believe so. And I thought I heard at least one of his sons was in the UK at this point, so that's interesting. I don't know if that's the same person, actually, but
I understand that they thought it was his eldest son, but his eldest son is not. It's not him. It's like the second eldest that is now taking over. Maybe there'll be a short time where he. I'm not sure if he's dealing with the U.S. government. However, this gave a lot of. I don't know how the markets are right now, but this will give. Kind of a push for the markets to feel like this can be done and over with faster than everybody realized. However, there's a person, a scholar I follow regarding Iran, and he's Ellen Journo, and he was talking about how Venezuela is very different than Iran. Meaning that in Venezuela, you have ideologues, but they're fake ideologues. They just pretend they're just there to be like socialists, but they want power. And that's the main thing. And they're moved differently. While he was saying that in Iran, if we tried to make a deal like we did in Venezuela, it would be very different because they really are centered in, Shiite beliefs, Islamic Shiite beliefs, and very ideological versus very practical. So that's what he was saying, that it might not result in the same way that Venezuela did. So I'll give the floor to Owen and everybody else.
All right. Well, certainly, I think one story that I posted was from Zero Hedge. They're talking about how apparently there are some discussions with Kurdish fighters or Kurdish leaders to potentially be the resistance in Iran. I think this is potentially being floated as an alternative to having U.S. ground troops in the area. So that's something to watch. It's hard to know how true that is or exactly where that stands or what's going to happen as a result of it. But there's apparently some effort to get the Kurdish forces in there to fight against the IGRC and the powers that are in Iran. There's a story about how Israel tracked down Khamenei. I would certainly put this in the category of propaganda, but
the Financial Times.
Yeah, the Financial Times is where it came from originally, and they're claiming that Israel hacked into the Tehran traffic cameras and mobile phone towers and was able to track Khomeini that way. They used this Unit 820B and was able to, get data on the bodyguards and the drivers. They knew the parking, the routes, the duty hours. They disrupted the phone towers to block any warnings. They used social network analysis. They had CIA human sources confirming the meeting. So there's a very detailed story around this, but I just put a big question mark around it because, done something like this. I would just assume whatever they told me was false because pretty consistently we say, oh, we got to protect sources and methods. We can't let anybody know how we did something because then we won't be able to do it anymore. And we might burn our resources and we might, it could cause all sorts of damage within intelligence. So we can't tell you how we did it. And they always stick to that, right? And I can't imagine that Israel wouldn't do the same thing.
The interesting thing about the Financial Times article is that they did cite that Iran itself had hacked into Israeli traffic cams as well. So that's known because they were able to hit Israel at one point or another and know where people were. So obviously that was, undone by Israel, but it's happened. It happened already.
Yeah, I'm just highly skeptical, but I just don't know that I can really put any credibility into this to the way Scott would talk about it. Just because it's like, okay, what's the motive behind this? Like, why release this information? If you're just bragging, that doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense to brag about what you did unless you're trying to make something happen. And to me, it probably is meant to create paranoia in the minds of the Iranian leadership, that if they think their traffic cameras and phone towers and everything else are compromised, then they're not going to want to use them, right? And they'll be always looking over their shoulder and they'll be having a harder time getting around. And so to me, this is an operation, right? Like this is a psychological operation. So I don't put any credibility into it. And it may still be true. Like I maybe it's true that that's what they did. But releasing this information to me seems like it has to be for a purpose. And the purpose to me would be to create paranoia and fear in the minds of the Iranian leadership. Just like the pagers, that the pagers I see is a little bit different because once you set them off, you already know, okay, we can't do that again. They're not going to fall for that a second time. And so you may as well tell them, yep, that was us. But, for anything else like this, especially if it's ongoing, I just don't think it would make any sense to release it unless you were just intentionally trying to make people think you knew where they were and making them panic or making them move in some way that they wouldn't otherwise, or be limited in how they can communicate and that sort of thing. So I think to me, this is a disruption operation.
Stella is like, I think the U.S. is winning because Stella is right there. She's
like, Mom, it's the fog of war. Move on. I'm like,
if she's saying America is winning, she said, like, let's talk about what Pete said at the press conference, right?
Yeah, like said, all the
so maybe she was listening to it.
Pete. Yeah.
What do you have to say, Sergio?
Well, I think that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't remember ever, does anybody remember ever having so many countries against one and nobody helping that country? Like being completely isolated and just strangulated like that. I mean, that kind of, I don't think has that ever happened. It's been
even
amazing.
Germany had Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody had friends. It is the most friendless country. The saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't feel sad for them, but it's so horrible the way they have no alliances left, right? Nobody's sticking up for them, just verbally out there, people protesting, the Dales out there, right? But it's just beautiful to see Pete taking the big picture. And Owen is right. This whole an operation is pretty cool. All the tactical stuff, and how they got it done. And Scott loved that. Scott loved how genius. He admired the genius of evil people, but not because of the evilness, but because of the craftiness, right? So super crafty. I admire that. But the point here is that we're on the fourth day. It feels like we've been doing this for a month,
Oh my
right, Erica?
God, 4.
It's only 4
Jeez.
days. It's only 4 days. It hasn't been a week yet, and they have accomplished so many objectives already. So the bright side is that is going is ahead of schedule and under budget. It looks like. So I think we have also another thing. They're saying, you know what? Don't quote us on the 4-week thing. We have enough to go forever, but not to make us like, oh, we go like, no, please, no more. Is to scare the enemy, right? So the enemy go like, oh, really? You only have 4 weeks of ammo? No, sir. We have a lot. We
Is
have
that how
stuff
the
that you don't
enemy
even.
talks?
Yeah, and then of course, and then Trump said like, you know what? We have so much stuff that we have hidden stuff everywhere. Did you hear that? He said on
Yeah.
his press conference yesterday that he had like stuff stockpiled everywhere. So don't worry about the stockpiles and timelines. Leave that to the professionals. I love
Hexed
that.
said the same thing today. He did say like we have like an enormous amount that it'll never end, and you guys know the deal. And I think Marco Rubio spoke yesterday at the press conference, and I love the way Marco, I mean, I love a lot of things about him, but I love the way he handles the press, because the press kept pounding him like, oh, you're just Israeli puppet, or, all these things, they're pushing him. And he was like, these are, like fanaticals, and we're trying to take them out. And here you are. And we didn't start this war. We're ending it. And paraphrasing what he said, but I love how he can control the press. And I think that's something that when Scott talked about is Trump changed that for candidates, because I remember before Trump, there being President Bush and McCain and all that, and they always catered to the press. But once President Trump brought in the whole fake news and uncovered them for what they are and made it known to the public, now I feel like, it's not just Marco, it's many other politicians now that they're able to speak to the press and tell them, no, you're wrong, or you're doing this and you're doing that. I love it. But I'll move on to the Tuesday election results.
Well,
So
let me just throw in on the Rubio point. Did you notice he used the phrase? He said we're about to unleash Chang on Iran.
yeah, he used that phrase.
So
Can
that's
you
a historical
expand
reference
on that phrase?
but it
Mr. Owen?
was basically referring to Chiang Kai-shek, and that was I think after World War II that there was this threat to release or unleash Chiang Kai-shek to attack mainland China, and I don't think that was accidental, frankly. That particular reference was used in this whole context of geopolitics. Because I think it's meant to strike fear in the hearts of China, most likely. And
it's China.
I think Owen had a story about that today on his news stories by Schweitzer.
Schweitzer was on
the
Fox News with Laura Ingraham, and Peter Schweitzer was talking about how this is a disaster for China. And so he was pointing out that China has a terrible hand, that they gave all their most advanced air defense systems to Iran, and they've just got wiped out by the United States. That they invested something like $100 billion in Iran to industrialize their energy and everything, and they're never going to get those loans back. And that they were getting 20% of their oil from Iran and now in Venezuela, I guess. And so now they don't have access to the Venezuelan oil and the Iranian oil, at least without using US dollars to purchase it. So now they're going to be forced to use US dollars to purchase their oil. So he's just pointing out that across the board, this is kind of a very bad situation for China, and putting them in kind of a somewhat powerless position where they're just sacrificing left and right, and they can't really do anything about it. And we've certainly seen that they're not stepping in to try and defend Iran. So it does seem like they're reluctant to get.
No, it's like Sun Tzu is from China, right? Supposedly, and he said, "Win without fighting is the ultimate." And Trump is doing that to them. How ironic, right? We're winning the World War III without even starting the war yet, and they're already strangulated.
Marcela, I see a paper tap coming.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead, Leslie.
Tuesday election results. I know this is just my favorite story.
Me too.
There's a lot of memes on it, and I know you're probably like, "What is she talking about?" Some of you are not paying attention, I suppose. But some of you know. If you know, you know. There's a lot of memes. Put them in there if you can. In the kickoff to the 2026 midterm elections, we had elections yesterday in Texas, North Carolina, and Arkansas. Um, in Texas, a major upset unfolded in the Republican. Sorry, I need to compose myself. In the in the Republican primary of U.S. House District 2, State Representative Steve Tott decisively defeated incumbent Representative Dan Crenshaw, ousting the four-term congressman in a race centered on loyalty to President Trump and conservative credentials. Todd led with around 56% to Crenshaw's 41%. He was, as I quote somebody saying on X, he was blindsided. And I go on. And I think
Poor
you're
eye
showing
patch
some of the
McCain.
memes. Huh?
Poor eye patch McCain.
Poor eye patch. If you know, you know. The high stakes U.S. Senate race also had to run off on the Republican side, and this is in Texas Senate race. Incumbent Senator John Cornyn against Attorney General Ken Paxton advanced without either securing a majority. They're going to do a runoff. There was a third candidate that got 10% of the vote, and they will share it. I was going to say, how do you pirates talk? I'm sorry. For Democrats in the U.S. Senate race, there was a clear winner. State Representative, James Tallarico narrowly defeated Representative Jasmine Crockett to claim the nomination. Jasmine Crockett, you know her. I don't know if you have a picture of that.
Oh, I can get one.
So Crockett actually made a press conference after the election results and kind of alluded to the fact that that's her next job. Okay,
Well,
that's her
I
next
know.
job. So Crockett alluded to, I don't know if anybody can state. I hardly want to watch her, so I sort of listened to a bit of what she was saying. She was saying that that Tallarico had played games and basically, quote unquote, allegedly cheated in the elections. And I think some people retweeted her or reposted her and said, "Hey, you should back the SAVE Act for voter ID since you think that way." In North Carolina, former Governor Roy Cooper easily won the Democratic Senate primary to succeed retiring Republican Senator Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis, as you know, is against the SAVE Act or, not voting for it. So there you go. Governor Roy Cooper, who is a Democrat, won in that race, while Michael Whatley took the GOP nod. Other notable results include strong incumbent performance in scattered House and statewide races amid the early battles for congressional control. There's more than just these elections, but it kind of gives you a sense of where we are. The highlight was Crenshaw surprise loss because he's basically
And Ken Paxton too.
No, Ken and
They have a runoff.
John Cornyn, they have a runoff, and he has a chance because there was a third candidate in that race, and they got 10%, and so that 10% is going to go into like Cornyn or Ken Paxton. Cornyn is a city. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
Crockett is the one that surprised me the most. I just wanted to add that because I really thought that she was going to win. I really thought that she had this cat talent stack as far as the attention grabbing, how rude she was and everything. She had I'm surprised that she lost. So I don't know what you guys.
Well, I think it's because of the cheating, don't you? I mean, so let me tell you. Let me make the case for it. So there was a rule change in Texas that this time, unlike all the previous times, you have to go to your precinct to vote. Okay, so in past elections, you can go any precinct you want, you could vote. So it didn't matter where you went, you could vote. Now you have to go to your particular precinct. So now everybody has to figure out, where is my voting precinct, right? And so that was part of the claim, was this confused everybody. They didn't know where to go to vote. And a judge actually did extend the voting to 9 p.m. And Crockett was saying, everybody needs to stay in line. We can't reward this behavior, blah, blah, blah. And I think the website at some point crashed, which was how people would find where their precinct is. So, I think we have to allow her that if she has really stupid voters, if that's her base, who can't figure out where their voting precinct is, then she might have been put at a disadvantage,
What are you saying, Owen, about her voters? They're
I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking,
How
like,
is the left going to spin this? Because a white man won an
yes.
African American woman.
And now
How will
Owen's
the left spin it?
well,
that
my understanding is that the DNC didn't want Crockett, and they were working to get this Tallarico guy elected. So they actually got what they wanted. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of upset within the Democratic Party.
No, not within the party because they wanted him, but I mean within their audience that does not see it that way, or you don't think
Yeah,
that they think for themselves.
none of the NGOs are going to fund their protests, so it's not going to. It's going to
That's
be
true. There
It's
you
going to
go.
be down to the organic stuff, which doesn't exist. So I don't think you're going to hear much.
I just can't wait to hear her say, like, oh, I mean, she's already talking about cheating and this and that. And it's like,
Just turn
oh
Republican.
gosh, I know. Like, oh, so now there's cheating for you, but not anything else ever. Just like, oh my God. It is like they have like whiplash, these people. Just anyway, and why we don't just have this same voting stuff for the entire country is beyond me. Like, what is this? Find your precinct and just everybody.
And Crockett surprised me because she was the only one of the few that she was pro-Israel too. So I was thinking, like, how can she lose too? With having all that support. So let's move on. Yeah,
That shows you Israel is not always
So
winning thing.
So apparently, the Democrats, there's some reports at least that they really want AOC to be president, or the nominee for president in 2028.
They did?
Yeah, there's some polls out
way.
that are indicating that, and they're seeing her as like Bernie Sanders' heir. They're thinking that the NYC win with Mamdani is signaling a shift, and she's raising a bunch of money. So I don't know. Some people are claiming that she might run for both and then end up being a senator again, but or run for Senate and president and then end up being a senator. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But it seems like the left is really pushing for that. In the meantime, they're apparently not going to have their midterm convention that they were talking about because they don't have enough money. So
they're broke.
They don't have the funding. The RNC has something like $100 million cash over them. It looks like the DNC took a $15 million loan for their 2025 wins, and they can't afford it. So
Kamala, did she squander all that money in like 5 days? Like, where's that money? She owes money. Yeah, they're in bad shape.
So that's cool. And then
that's cool.
There's a poll out that says that apparently the GOP is catching up with the congressional ballot, like generic ballot thing that they do. So apparently that's a dead heat now, 50-50. It was 54% Democrats last month, so we caught up 4 points and we're dead even with them now. We're hoping that we might be able to get to something like the 54% ourselves based on arresting all the criminals and shutting down the border and having low taxes. But the Democrats are probably going to be countering with trying to give away free services and take down billionaires and crap like that. So I think the anti-Trump messaging does, according to this poll, seem to resonate with Democrats, that they like it when those types of messages come out about Trump being a dictator and things like that. So we'll have to see what resonates with people. But I think Trump's approval rating is still slightly negative, but it's up from where it was. So it seems like we're making progress on the midterms. So it's looking like we might have a chance. I don't know. I'm still thinking the odds are against us, but it's starting to look a little better.
Can I throw in a quick reminder, you guys, whatever platform you're on, could you give us a like, a subscribe, a thumbs up? It really helps us with everything we're doing here.
And
Just
comments too.
comments.
On X.
Yeah, X, give us some comments. Share the
Hey,
stream.
Like good comments, not
Owen,
bad ones.
you need another avatar with the thumbs up like this, Owen, so we can.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay, thank you.
The next story is the US-Ecuador operation. This report comes from the Wall Street Journal. The Trump administration is escalating its fight against Latin America drug gangs, launching joint US-Ecuador operations targeting the terrorist designated group Los Choneros and Los Lobos. With Ecuador now a major cocaine transit hub, U.S. Special Forces are providing advisory support for Ecuadorian commando raids on drug sites, marking a shift from prior vote strikes to direct on-the-ground collaboration. This expansion aims to curb narco violence and trafficking flows to North America and Europe. And this was done in conjunction with together with Ecuador's forces with the U.S. military. And next story,
Cleaning house.
you guys have
Cleaning
comments on narcos and drugs.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, sorry,
Owen?
okay, here we go.
Well, so apparently with this Austin shooting, it looks like the Soros DA seems to be going after the police that was stopping that. I think it looks like the cops who killed this terrorist were going to be facing a grand jury, and now this Garza Soros DA apparently had to back off from that once the backlash came, because apparently once the cops lawyered up, everybody started finding out about this and was, of course, pretty outraged. So it looks like the Soros DA did make his attempt to try and go after the police.
Is this in Austin?
Yeah.
Oh.
So these Austin police that killed the Senegalese terrorist, apparently the DA wanted to have a grand jury against the cops, and but now that it's been publicized, apparently they're backing off of that, and he's claiming it never happened, and so it looks like it's going the way it should. But Garza made a statement: "My office is not seeking any charges." But there was this dispute about that. I think Abbott was saying, I don't care what happens, basically, because I have the final say over what happens to these cops. So I think he was stepping in saying, look, if I need to, I'm going to pardon these guys. But apparently there's lots of fun happening in Texas there.
Yeah.
And then in other news, 60% of Gen Z wants to go into the trades. I think we talked about that with AI coming into the picture. A new survey from Resume Templates shows a major pivot. 60% of Gen Z plan to enter skilled trades this year, including construction, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and manufacturing. The poll of just 1,250 young adults cites job security, hands-on skills, solid pay without heavy debt. That's a sharp jump from last year's data, which was 40%. It shows the reactions was that it's AI-proof careers and allows for
Can we celebrate
to get
this?
Yeah, let's celebrate it.
Like
Celebrate.
honestly, that is I don't think we can highlight how amazing that is enough, because this country, we need tradespeople desperately.
Yeah.
Also, schools, as we know, typically are indoctrination camps. You come out in such debt. You're wasting at
Not
least
plumbing school. Plumbing school, they teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Like, go to a vocational school, a trade school. Oh my God, you're not going to come out in debt. And you're like, you can work while you're in there, and you can, oh my God, this is honestly, I just wanted to pause on this for a second, because this is making me happy.
I
And
mean,
a lot of
Gen
people-
Z is great. Yeah, go ahead.
There's so much technology. There's so much technology in all the trades too. A lot of people, they just get stuck thinking that they think of the plumber, that you can see his crack, like while he's working in your toilet. That's not it. This we're talking about high tech stuff now in every trade, right, Owen? You know that. Yeah.
I want to say one other thing too.
The
So
crack.
I have my friend. Where is
Ooh.
Denise here? Here we go. So her niece is going into college. Very, very smart girl, wealthy family, all the things. Okay. So I'm not going to show you her name or anything, but she is going to a college of technology. And her major is welding and fabrication engineering and technology. That is a smart girl right there. Her parents are doing the right thing. Look at that. Major in welding and fabrication engineering technology. Like that's
Yeah,
the way.
there was a story. I don't know if it was Owen's story, but there was like female welders are being sought out by aerospace,
Yeah.
Boeing, and I
Why?
don't know any other company because of how steady their hands are compared to a male's hands. So when a welder is welding, they have to keep very steady when they build things that go to space. It's very particular versus like anything else. I don't know. Was it your story, Owen? It's just
It doesn't sound familiar to me, but I can take a look for it. I don't know.
yeah.
And shout out to those of you that remember the movie Flashdance if you're old enough. The woman
Tell us.
Alex, she was a welder. She was hot.
Yep.
She was a dancer with the shoulders sticking
How
out.
did she dance?
Like a maniac. I can't do it. But I used to do it back in the day. I would try anyway. But anyway, she was a welder in that movie. So it can be sexy. She was gorgeous, sexy. She could dance and weld. Hello. Go,
That's
girls.
good. That's good. Owen, your story.
Well, I like this one. Apparently there are some Republican senators who are pushing for capital gains taxes to be indexed to inflation. So basically, if you hold a stock or some investment over a large number of years, you pay the capital gains based on what you paid for it, versus what it's worth now. And it may have gone up a lot in that time, but a lot of that is really just inflation. And so I think the Ted Cruz and Tim Scott are actually trying to get Bessent to do it in the Treasury, meaning it wouldn't even have to go through legislation, to try and index the capital gains to inflation so that you wouldn't be taxed on the inflation part of it. And apparently that's about 1/3 of all the capital gains that are out there. So that would potentially boost a lot of savings and give a lot of money back to people on their homes if they're going to have capital gains on their home sales. Certainly all the retirement funds and things might be affected with that too. So I doubt it'll happen, but I like the creative thinking, and it does seem like the Republicans are consistently on the side of trying to lower taxes as opposed to saying how can we raise them, which is a very stark difference with the Democrats.
Yep.
They
Well,
just
America's
want to
winning.
tax everybody. Yeah. I just wanted to do my favorite story. I know it's not that cool, but it's the sixth story. I'm skipping Gavin. Gavin,
Good.
basically in Gavin's story, it's like he went for the left, called Israel an apartheid state, and now he's catering to the left. And what else did I see on Gavin Newsom? He's adding like 30 billion gazillion more money for homeless, which he's been fighting for 2,000 years. And there's still a homeless issue here in California.
Marcela.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Can I go to my
Gavin,
story?
Yeah, just quickly on Gavin. Do you
Yeah,
think that maybe
very
he's
quick.
trying to get AOC to be like VP? Like that's why he's going against. Yeah, go ahead. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay, he should. That would be fun. My favorite story is Arch Axe, and it's a Japanese robot that is 15-foot robot, high risk industrial and disaster response task, and it's going viral right now on I think Brian.
15 feet
15
tall?
feet tall. And he can help in dangerous settings. I remember it's Japan, so he can help in earthquake rescue, power infrastructure restoration. I wanted to play the video,
Okay.
but I don't know how cool it will be. Hold on.
I hear it. Oh.
If you missed it,
Oh.
I appeared on
Oh
See? You got
no!
Rupert, you got Trump.
Oh my gosh!
We saw it live,
Hey.
people. That's how it happens. If you know, you know. Oh my God, that thing's so scary.
Okay, so every
Right.
time I use ChatGPT, Gemini AI, and what else? What else? Grok. I always say thank you, and I have to remember that one day that will come back, and they will appreciate it once they're in power.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know. But I just love it because I'm an anime fan. I also love Japanese like Voltron, all these things where you become a robot, and they're building it. There was criticism of this robot because it's not very efficient, but it's cool. So
Oh my God, that thing, imagine that thing coming down the street and like you're stuck in a building in an earthquake and it just like plucks you out of the window.
I
Holy
know. I'll be like,
cannoli.
yes.
That's amazing.
Or
With
very
that,
horrified.
no, I know. And I'm very nice to my technology too, but I don't think it's going to give a shit in the end. It's probably just going to kill me.
And
Um,
we have time, I guess, for another story
yeah,
from
one quick
Owen.
story. We have time for one
Well,
more.
in the distraction department, there's more UFO news. Argentina has declassified an incident in 1991 in the Antarctic Circle that apparently there was all these, they call them ryometers that were going off, and that they showed impossible synced readings, meaning there were three different things that were making the same readings. And it was something happening up in the ionosphere that it was detecting. But it was basically saying the only way these readings could have happened is if something like the size of an aircraft carrier that was nuclear powered or the size of a city was up there. And apparently people went outside and they did see some kind of big glowing orb or something that was way up in the sky over Antarctica. And they're claiming that there's no way these sensors could have been like just an anomaly, or that it seemed like there really had to be something huge up there. But
I'm not built for this world.
so there's apparently some massive craft that was there over 1991 in Antarctica, and then there's a retired Major General Neil McCasland, and he used to be overseeing some of this stuff. Basically, like he was thought to be maybe one of the people that was going to be doing some of this UFO disclosure. He used to oversee Kirkland Air Force Base and Wright Patterson, which is tied into the Roswell stories. He's missing now. So nobody knows where he is, and they're looking for him. There's rewards out, I think, and anybody, there's what they call a silver alert. I didn't know there was such a thing. Maybe that's like the Amber Alert, but for older people.
Yeah,
There is. In California, there is.
Okay, so there's a silver alert out on him, and the FBI is looking into it. They're trying to find this guy. So,
Did they say when he was last seen?
I don't know. I don't remember that detail, but I could try and find it.
Oh.
Right now with everybody, all the chatters, if you believe that there's aliens out there and we know about them, drop an emoji in the chat. If you believe in it,
Drop an alien emoji.
Any emoji. It's hard to find some. Yeah, but drop an emoji if you believe that there's aliens out there.
The truth is out there.
I'm wondering.
Somebody asked if there was grainy pictures of this thing.
I did not see any grainy pictures of the orb. I just there are pictures in the article of the readings on the ryometer, whatever that is, but it's like one of those ticker tape sort of things. So no, I don't see any of the orb.
Look at all this.
Just that it was a huge light circle that they saw over the base, so that's all it would have been.
It looks about half and half on the alien idea, or I don't know. So it's not overwhelming. It's not overwhelming that we think that. I don't really have an opinion. I don't know. It's that Libra thing again. I could go either way on this. You show me an ungrainy picture that's not AI, but how do you know? Nothing. I believe nothing. I believe nothing.
Look at her. I believe.
Conflicted.
I believe in aliens.
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, this was so fun today. I love it. Listen, if anyone has actual footage of a UFO or an alien, please send it to me. I will review it and analyze it. It's a second skill I have. You guys are so cute. I love the indecisiveness about it.
Sergio didn't say anything about the UFOs.
Maybe
Well, I
Sergio's
don't want
brilliant.
the channel to I don't want the channel to get banned. You know, if I
Oh.
tell you what I know.
I did find
If I
out
tell you
it-
what I know, the YouTube channel will be out.
Mhm.
You know.
So the last time Major General McCasland was seen was around 11 a.m. Friday near the Quail Run Court Northeast in Albuquerque.
All right, you guys, you got to find Mrs. Guthrie and this man.
I
All right.
know.
If
Yeah.
if any of you find Mrs. Guthrie or this man, I will send you a mug and a simultaneous swaddle blanket.
You can come live with us.
And you can come on live. Yes.
You know
absolutely.
what? We have a get it together here, meetup in Tucson next week.
Oh yes.
So we can go all and search for her together.
What day?
Like
What
a
day?
search party.
Do a search
Next
party.
next Monday morning.
All right, Sergio, I know what you're trying to
Office
do. You're
hours.
trying to throw me off my time Nazism, and it's not going to work. So, you guys, that being said, thank you so much for being here. We'll let you know about tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow. I just am waiting on one thing, but it's either the news crew or a guest. It's going to be either way. I think it's the news crew. Okay, which look, we love this, right? So, you guys, let's be useful today. Don't forget that the Dilbert calendar has been restocked on Amazon, and you can grab a 2026 Dilbert calendar over there. And you guys are so cute. I love you guys right here. And so when you guys said who's Bree? Bree is Shelly's cousin, and she's behind the scenes. You just can't see her, but she's running this little operation for us right now. So we appreciate her so much. People that were saying that you miss Scott, yeah, yep. Same. We miss Scott too. We don't do him justice, but we want to show up for each other every single day. Okay, so we love you guys. Let's all be useful and stay positive. Okay, get the toxic people out of your life. You can do it. All right, a sip to Scott, who we love and miss and cherish so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. To Scott.
See you tomorrow.
To Scott.
To Scott.